Welcome to the Automotive Blockchain channel, everyone. Hey, welcome back here. Welcome back. All of those of you who have subscribed, who do come back to the channel, check out the videos. Love dub goes out from my heart to yours. And for those of you who are new to the Automotive Blockchain channel, come on in, the Blockchain channel bus. There are plenty of seats, plenty of room. Let's get this thing started. All right, I just wanted to say to this is going to be another video on digital identity. And we're going to be focusing on a couple of things. Well, one specific thing actually, but in a couple different ways. And that is going to be on the digital driver's license / digital ID that has to deal with you. But before we get into that, I just want to tap this brakes on the Automotive Blockchain channel bus and just say to you this. It's all about the standards, baby. It's all about the standards. And you have a huge consortium of companies all stretching all across the world that are literally helping develop the standards for digital identities, not just for your vehicle, but also for you. And I dare to say that in some cases it may be, to some people, against you. But let's not get too nefarious with this, all right? It is literally one of those things that are going to happen. For those of you that are in nay-nay mode, and I'm not talking about doing the nay-nay dance or the whip. I'm literally talking about no, it ain't gonna happen. Nope. It's not gonna happen. I'm telling you, yes, it is, all right? So feast your eyes on this, all right? If you're driving, don't stare at your screen, but look at this. This is Mobi, and I've brought them up in a number of different videos. And Mobi is literally a consortium of a whole bunch of different companies spread throughout the world, and they are helping develop the standards and the technology in order to place this digital identity, not just of your vehicle, but mobility in general. And the companies that are surrounding them, let's dig into it, all right? So you have over here, it says meet their community. And you can filter them by industry. And I strongly suggest all of you who are listening to this video, go through and look at this. Right here on the screen, you see Ripple is part of the consortium or the community members for Mobi, along with R3. Now we all know, or at least for those of you who have been in the industry long enough, you know that R3 and Ripple, well, they have a lot of things going on with each other. You see the IOTA Foundation, and that's underneath here on the blockchain protocols. Hyperledger's in here, Consensys is in here. Now moving on to the government and NGOs, because this is where I want to kind of spin this into how government organizations, literally here in the United States as well as abroad, are utilizing this, all right? So you have the government's NGOs and academic research community members. And who do you see? You'll see the European Commission. You also see some from Italy. You'll see CBAN. You see the Oregon Department of Transportation. Yes, that's right, the Oregon Department of Transportation. That's the DOT. You'll see smart cities. Now, why am I just kind of focusing on the European Commission? Well, one is because Mobi just brought them on and accepted them as a new member. Over here on their LinkedIn site, I saw it pop up a couple days ago, earlier in June of 2021 here. It says, welcome new member, the European Commission. And we're going to get into an article in just a few moments that talk about how the European Commission is utilizing, their goals, I should say, not utilizing their goals, but establishing goals in order to have a digital identity. And before I get into that, I want to just pause for a minute also and just say, think about this. Digital identity should be nothing new to any of you on the phone here, listening to this video. All right, it should be nothing new to you. Why? Because if you really think about it, you already have a digital twin that is in the making. Literally the sinews and the fascia that exist within your entire existence. Your digital footprint is already being created in your social media platforms, is already being created in all the things that you like, in your shopping habits, your Amazon and Alibaba and all that kind of stuff. That is literally developing the muscle fibers, so to speak, the fascia, so to speak, your neural network, so to speak, of your digital twin. And that information, as we all know, is being utilized by these corporations that are developing the standards, not all of them, but some of them, that are developing the standards in order to, in some cases, benefit existence and also help create money for them. I mean, this is nothing new. It shouldn't come to you as a shock. So for those of you like, oh my gosh, it's nefarious, where you been sleeping? Are you been underneath a rock? But I'm just saying, all right, this is the way that things are happening. So yes, the European Commission is one of them. And as we go into this, let's look into the United States. So what about these driver's license? Now, what you should know about new options coming for digital driver's license. and we're going to get to the European Commission. But keep in mind, this is not just about driver's license in and of themselves. It's about your personal identification. All right. Now, this article here comes from the Deseret News, and that's out of Utah. And they're talking about some states, tech companies, and even TSA. And for those of you that are outside of the United States, that's the Transportation Security Administration here in the United States, are looking towards having your government issued ID on your phone. Your government issued ID on your phone. And this is from June 23rd. And you see this guy right here, he's holding up the state of Utah, and you have a digital driver's license that is appearing on here. And as I zoom in here on the camera, you can see that it says share the age, share the address, or share all. And that information is on there. And the goal with this, or I should say the announced goal with this, is to make sure that you are only going to share the information that you need to, or that you desire with respects to your digital driver's license. I think there's a whole nother number of applications. I won't get into that with that. But as you scroll down here, it says this fall, you'll just be able to scan your driver's license or state ID in participating U.S. states. And who is saying that? That is basically the person who's representing this article here, okay? Now, I want you to focus on this because earlier this year, or earlier this month of June, Apple announced this digital ID coming out with the iOS 15 release. And that part of that release is going to be able to allow, as you see here on the screen, it's going to be allow iPhone users to keep their driver's license, basically scan their driver's license in, and then it'll be on the phone, and then they can use that to get around. Now, how does that work here? Now, according to the Associated Press reports, the Utah, Iowa, Florida will kick off their programs by next year. It's likely those states with programs already in place will be among the first to use Apple's new identity card offering. Now, the TSA is working with Apple to accept digital IDs in airports. When you present your ID, you'll know what specific information is requested and securely present it. Now, keep in mind of this up here, it's showing here and it says share age, share address, or share all. So if you try to transpose that over here into you standing in the airport line and you're just trying to get through, it's a long line, you'll be able to present the information they want and be able to share that information and then move on with just the tap of, and be able to get right on your flight. Okay, so that is something they're doing. Now, here's the thing with this. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of security issues that may be going through your head, like, wait a minute, they're trying to steal my identity. At least here in the US, the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, released a report last month citing some privacy concerns. The report outlined that digital driver's license should only be adopted if they are not mandatory, do not lead to ubiquitous ID checks, and do not use technology use technology to protect the privacy of the user. All right. So now that was something that they were looking at, and one of the things we want to focus on this is that if implementation is secure enough to be trusted by banks and ID cards, it legitimizes the technology. Now, the stop. What do you mean if? Okay. My personal opinion is that putting this on the blockchain would be the big if. That would help secure it. And here's the thing, a lot of companies are already doing that. And remember what I said, going back to Moby. Moby is developing those standards. And if you paid attention to the previous videos that I've done, I've talked about the digital twin. I've talked about how vehicle IDs will be like a vehicle digital birth certificate, and that'll be a replication of your vehicle. And it's going to be the same as your digital birth certificate that's going to be coming out. So let's move over into the next part, the European Commission. Now remember, we just said this, okay? The European Commission proposes digital identity wallets. So we have here the United States with the Department of Transportation and other government entities are looking to do this. We see here the European Commission proposes digital identity wallet earlier in June. This is all coming out in June. Just think about it. It's a timely thing. The digital identity wallet proposed on Thursday, June 3rd, offers the possibility to identify on-scene digital and store manage identity data of official documents. Okay, so here's what they're looking at. The European Commission is looking for this. It says their idea realistically. The European Commission wants to create a self-sovereign identity ecosystem to break the dependencies on monopolies. Monopolies like whom? I don't know, maybe like the Googles out there or the Facebooks out there or the Apples out there. That's perhaps what they're trying to get at. They want to break the dependencies on monopolies and gain freedom to shape the digital future in sovereign and swift manner. All right, now sovereign to the government entity. Let's just keep that in mind. According to the commission, users should be able to decide themselves. They want people to decide for themselves about their online presence and interactions, meaning all the personal data, the transfers should require the explicit consent. By who? The data owner. Now I want to focus on this for a second. They're looking at the data owner, okay? But there's some things that are going on out there where you start to draw that line between who really owns the data of your personal identity. Is it the employee, or is it you, the employer, or the employer or the employee? Who really owns that data? And you may be thinking, wait a minute, there may be some other things in there with this. Well, there's an article out there that is literally talking about this, and it's coming from Scoop. And where's it at here? All right, so this is a State Scoop Radio. How states are moving faster on digital citizen service development. Now, this is back here in the United States, but I believe that this is the same sort of thing that's going to be popping up in sovereign countries all around the world. Now, obviously, China, they pretty much own your identity and they own the corporations as well. So it just depends on where you're at. But check this out. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, all right? And we'll get past all this highlight stuff. To truly understand what problems you're trying to solve, identity architects have to understand who the identity will belong to and what resources that user is trying to access. So they got to figure that out, who the identity belongs to. And they start to break out the differences between what is a citizen or employee identity tools, how these things differ, okay? Pay close attention. Citizens typically own their identity. Now, for those of you who are in free states in the Western world, you may be thinking, yeah, I thought I knew that. And not always. Look closely. Traditionally, they own their identity and traditionally sign up for each government services individually, such as the Department of Motor Vehicles, the driver's license that we just spoke of, parks and recreation departments, etc. The citizens also want a seamless registration process when they're doing this. And if possible, they want to use existing social logons like Google accounts or Facebook. Now, didn't we just go back and just discuss this on how the European Commission's trying to figure out how they can break dependencies on the monopolies? Well, we all know that these particular entities, such as Google and Facebook, have a pretty much monopoly on how they use that particular data. So the European Commission is trying to get away from that. I can guarantee you this, folks. They're probably going to talk to Google and Facebook about how they go about, utilizing that data. If you have the world resources such as the Alibabas of the world, the Amazons of the world, the Googles of the world, the Facebooks of the world that have the data, who do you think the European Commission type people are going to go to say, hey, what's the best ways on how to utilize this and how to leverage it? I mean, the people actually created the stuff to begin with? That's my opinion. But I'm just saying, it just seems to make sense. And I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it seems like it makes sense. It's kind of factual in my head. All right. So these are the things that they're looking at. They're trying to provide an effective online service. The government needs a foundation in place to establish citizen trust. So they want to be able to make sure the citizens are going to be able to trust this. Why? In my opinion, to adopt it. Adopt the changes that are going to be coming down the pike. All right. So you have the European Commission that is putting all of this together. You have the United States that is putting all of this together, and they're trying to figure out. And here's the thing, as we go back to Moby, okay, these are the people who are putting this together. And now Moby is for Mobility, Open Source Blockchain Initiative. So this is talking about mobility factors. And yes, you're looking at smart cities, you're looking at smart cars, and that's just going to be in one vertical. But the companies that are part of this initiative represent numerous verticals. We all know where Ripple stands. Let's just go into another one, okay? We're looking at suppliers. Suppliers, as part of this initiative, is BII Labs. You have Itochu. You have Bosch. Bosch represents a whole bunch of different sectors. You have a Chinese organization. You have Morelli, Hitachi, Continental, ZF Group, etc., 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 etc. Logistics. With supply chain management issues that are going on around the world, you get an idea of how things are happening here with AWS. Itochu's on there again. So I say to you, for those of you that are trying to figure this out and trying to think to yourselves, where is this all going? I seem as if I'm lost. Think about this, is that it's all about the standards. Follow the money, folks. What is being developed? While you were sitting there fussing about what you're going to be trying to, what vehicle you're going to be driving and what motorcycle you're going to be driving, think about this, is that you're developing a digital twin with every single one of your purchases. Whether it's the motorcycle, whether it's the camper, whether it's the convertible that you want to have, you're developing that digital identity, that digital twin. And that digital thread that is associated with that is going to represent the entire life cycle of your asset. Whether that asset is your vehicle or that asset is you. All right, everyone. Hey, let me know what you think of this video. Go ahead and put a comment in the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. And don't forget, love dub goes out from my heart to yours. I do appreciate you. Let's see you next time.